some of these leaders can be in prison and still control everything about their churches, like Warren Jeffs, the FLDS leader. You don't have to be out and near a church to have influence. When there is a power dynamic, a power imbalance, consent is hard to exist in this dynamic. If you fear hell, punishment, social shame, and after-death consequences, consent cannot exist. I mean, it's hard enough to have bodily autonomy and confront a leader in a secular environment that commits misconduct. I don't even want to know how you would go about confronting a man who believes that everything he says, thinks, and does is God's will. And when there is a power imbalance, it doesn't matter what decisions the person who doesn't have the power does. Even if they consent, even if they want to do it, they can't think objectively because there is so much they can lose. They can't make the decision, any other decision than what they make, because they're afraid, or even if they're not afraid, their subconscious knows there are consequences. Power dynamics is a brilliant way to silence victims. And there's a power imbalance already between parents and children, teachers and children. So when you add an additional layer of, I have biblical authority, I've been ordained by God. Children can't ask questions. They're persuaded not to ask questions. There are thought-ending dialogue. When a child asks questions, and instead of answering those questions, the adults, the parents, the teachers shut down conversations that need to happen. Doubt, crisis of faith, identity crisis, sexual orientation. When you use thought-diminishing cliches, sentences that completely end conversations, this is a toxic power dynamic. And even in marriage, if the woman is submitting to a man and does not have the final say, then there should be no final say in relationships. It should be a mutual decision. And if one person doesn't want to do something, you don't need mutual submission. If one person is uncomfortable, you don't do it. If somebody has resignations about a decision, an activity, a choice, you don't make a final decision. You wait. If somebody doesn't want to do something, you don't need mutual submission to not do something. It takes one person. And it's all about consent. Consent cannot exist if there is a toxic power structure. And it's very similar to the Clinton and Lewinsky scenario. Even if the victim has enthusiastic consent, they're not equal with the other person. If every person in a position of power and authority did not misuse the power dynamic, there would be no victims. But because the person who has the power, who is usually older than the person without the power, or has more education and life experience than the other person, the victim, the survivor, what objective, autonomous decisions can they make, even if the survivor thinks their decision was bodily autonomy? Was it? Obeying biblical leaders isn't just obeying in and of itself. It's always tied to spiritual growth, the afterlife, how God views you, and the opportunity for power and influence. If you don't do exactly what they say, believe the way they say, you either get out or they silence you. There's very little space in extreme forms of religion for doubt, questions, or confrontations.